cool.
Let's try it out.
Oh! Jesus Christ. Hey, everybody. That sucker packs a wallop.
It works!
Bill shot me in the tit.
Hey, welcome down to the shop there, fellow maker. I'm Bill. I'm modding a Nerf gun today, and I'm doing it with my pal,
Evil Ted.
Yeah! This is the Nerf Rival with the balls. This is the one with the little squishy balls. And I think I can make this look kind of like a Destiny gun. So that's what I'm going to try and do. But I also want to try this. This is a 3D printing pen. My friends over at Matterhackers sent this over to me, and I've been looking for a chance to play with this. I got a bunch of ABS filament in all the colors of the rainbow. Thanks, Ted. And I'm going to try and use this ABS plastic to weld more ABS plastic to the plastic of this gun. So I've got some sheets of plastic that should be the same as this, and I should be able to weld it together and make it look all cool. So that's what I'm gonna try and do today. We'll see how it works. So I got my 3D printing pen, this Crafty Pen, open. Of course, I'll have a link to this in the description if you want to check it out yourself. It came with PLA plastic. I'm not going to use that. And then it's got this pen thing, like so. And it's got a power cable, I think. So I'll plug this in, get it all heated up, and see if I can use it to weld some of this plastic together. Plug this in, and I have the option to change it to ABS, and that's what I'm going to do. It's going to have to get hotter to do it there. There we go. Here's my first test. I got a couple of pieces of this ABS plastic here, and I got my little 1, 2, 3 block I can hold that against. And then I'm gonna run this down that seam and see if it welds it together. So let's do that. I'll tack it down just like I'm really welding. Like that. It's kind of holding it together, and then let's go down the whole seam. It's the big bubbly melty plastic mess. That is that's pretty good. Oh, it snapped off. Ted's having as little luck as I am.
Gonna reach the scary moment where I go to proceed to pull this apart, and if a spring flies, I'm gonna be angry.
It didn't get down in that chamfer at all.
Nope.
This is not going as well as I'd hoped. It's not sticking at all. So here's what I've decided. Here's my plastic. I'm gonna glue them together with super glue and then use a 3D printing pen to make a fake weld line. It'll still look cool, and it'll be fun to do. So just normal super glue. I'm gonna glue this like that, spray it with my accelerant, like that. Okay, now that we're ready to go, I can do that and make a decorative weld line, I hope. There we go. We have that line on there. If I paint that to look like metal, I think that will be really good. Actually, I'm gonna go spray this with spray paint real quick and see how it looks. There we go. That's kind of cool, like a really crappy weld line. It's strong because I super glued it together and then I used that as decoration, and I think that's pretty convincing. So I'm gonna practice this a little bit more and then figure out how I'm gonna apply that to my Nerf gun. I got excited.
I wanted to paint it.
Yeah. I want to paint mine. It's time to crack this thing open.
Also, I want to see that thing.
And when I saw this, I thought of Destiny because I've been playing a lot of Destiny. And this is a gun, tiny picture of a gun. I'm going to kind of try and make that look like that. Cool?
Very cool.
Let's try it out.
Oh! Jesus Christ. Hey, everybody. That sucker packs a wallop.
It works!
Bill shot me in the tit.
I got a plan.
He's got a plan.
I got the man with a plan. I have this toy gun here with a cool scope, and I want to put the scope on here, but it doesn't make sense to put it on the rail there, because you can't see with that in the way, so I want to put it on the side. So what I'm going to do is cut the rail off of this guy, or break this rail off, and then glue it on here, or screw it probably on here, so that this can go on the side, so that when I'm shooting, I have a scope on the side. Alright, I liberated this piece from its original part. I'm going to drill some holes through it, and then drill some holes into my gun to sort of tap it, so I can screw those in. And then I've got some screws here. These are really little like computer screws or something. I don't know where I got them, but I'm gonna run them through them there first to sort of cut their own threads in the plastic, and then I should be good.
It's so funny. I have a rail on this, on the gun itself. It's the rail on the Brainsaw, which I guess you might need a laser sight on his head before you push a saw blade into it.
I have a laser sight.
That'll laser sight. You need it.
All right, so that looks like it's pretty well attached. I'll probably glue that once before I paint it, but now I can attach that perfectly. There we go. Got my scope. I've got a plan to add like a shroud to this part, but I want to add more like on the back here. So I think a little like rack to hold some bullets would be good. And I've got this mold for some bullets that I'm going to cast in onyx. So this is smooth cast onyx fast. And I've got some brass powder, so I'm going to cold cast these so they look metal. I'm going to put brass powder in the mold to cold cast this. In fact, we have a whole video on cold casting. Careful not to breathe in any of this metal. And make sure it gets on all of the surfaces inside the mold. Dump out the extra. Just over 30. Pour side A. Mix it up. And then carefully fill each bullet. Here we go. Make sure there aren't any bubbles in there. We let that cure. For the shroud part, I've designed this shroud thing that's going to go over my gun. I'm going to make it out of these sheets of plastic that I got. This is a normal ABS plastic. Got my design here. I'm just laying it out with the see-through ruler. And this other part is 1.5 inches wide. So I can cut those, roughly cut those out, and then work on details there. And this stuff you can just kind of score with a sharp knife and then snap it. Just snap it. Kind of in both directions. Ta-da!
So boring to do it for myself. It really is. I do this for myself every day, and I just wish that somebody else could do it here.
There we go. Trim that out. Clean it up a little bit with X-Acto. One little slot. Just need to do that a couple more times. Got all my plastic pieces ready to go. I want to glue this at an angle, so I'm going to bevel the back side of this where it glues down. I've got this tiny block plane that's really adorable, and it does a great job of planing a nice chamfer on my ABS plastic. And I'm just kind of guessing at the angle. We're going to get pretty close, like that, and then I can go over it with some sandpaper and just rough it up a little bit. Now I can glue that on, have a nice glue surface at the angle that I want.
Nice.
I can spray my accelerant on there, and then I can line this up the angle I want and touch it down. And then this part is just gonna cover it the rest of the way. Spray this area. And I'm using the grid here to make sure everything is as square as possible. And touching everything down. Whoops. So I'll just do a little bit of sanding and cleanup work on there and add some embellishments. Ted's over there talking to himself.
Like a crazy person.
I want to add a little more detail, another layer of detail. So I have another piece of ABS plastic that's going to get glued down. I'll glue a bunch of them on there, and then this is what I'm going to weld with my 3D printing pen. So I got this thing all prepped. Just add a little super glue. Just like that. Here is my shroud piece. I've glued on this extra bit there, and now I want to make that look welded, and that's where the 3D printing pen is going to come into play. So hopefully I get this to work the way I need it to. That's pretty cool. Cool. That looks kind of neat. My bullets are done. I hope they were nice and cool. They should be all done, and I can probably pull them out of the mold. Let's see how they turned out. Hey, no, that turned out all right. I mean, of course it's fine. I'm great at this. I can trim the end of it off and buff that, and it'll look like brass. Got my cold cast bullets. I'm going to give them a quick buff with some steel wool. That really kicks up the metallic finish on there, like so. Then I can mask off the tip there. There it is. I'll spritz it with a little bit of that spray lacquer, and then give it a buff, and it should look like a bullet. And now I've got a brass casing, and the end of it has that nice silver look to it. A little bit of extra buffing in with the paper towel there. I have a nice shiny looking bullet. There we go. That'll do nicely. I'm building my little bullet holder here out of more of that ABS plastic. And to glue these parts together, I'm going to use my 1, 2, 3 blocks. Oh, hey, Ted. Thanks for the beer, buddy. Ta-da! So I put some glue on there, and I'm going to spray that with accelerant. Butt it up against the 1, 2, 3 block, and then carefully set this in place. And it'll stick down. Whoops. And it'll be at a nice 90-degree angle. Just like that.
And I was laughing because I pulled it apart and said, "That's really cool. I took a photo. Thanks, Britt Duran." And Bill goes, "You just call me Britt Duran." I said, "No, it was Britt's idea. Take a picture." It's very funny.
Yeah, I got that idea from Bill, though. It's true.
Oh, damn it. Come back. Came back around.
Yeah, I just steal all his knowledge and say it's mine.
Yeah, I do the same thing too.
Glued this little piece on there. That'll hold my bullets in place, I hope. Got my little bullet holder thing ready to go. It's gonna get drilled in to there with these socket head Allen screws, but to connect them, I want to tap these. I could just tap them with the screws, but I happen to have the right tap. This is a 1024 tap, so I'm gonna do that. Take my tap and tap the hole. And I can be pretty aggressive with this because it's just plastic. Now this screw fits in there perfectly. That screws in there. That screws in there. Those are nice and on there. And my bullets will go in like so. But I can take this off and paint it separately. Use more of that plastic to make this thing here that will slide on the gun. Right there. That's how I'm going to attach the shroud here. So that's just going to get glued down. Like that. And this will slide on like that. Pretty cool. So I want to do like a barrel extension, and I found this PVC pipe. It was a little big, so I chucked it in my lathe and turned this down so it actually fits really nicely, which is awesome. I want to make sure it still shoots. I want to make sure the balls don't hit that. So that's like that, and oh, that almost hit you in the face.
Yes, it did, Bill. I I have a better idea for charging pockets. Good Lord.
Here's my barrel extension. This guy here, I cut off a piece of PVC pipe, threw it in my lathe to turn this down so that it fits. Worked great. And then I threw it back in the lathe to add these lines. Then drilled a couple holes on the drill press and cut it out just like I did the side panels on my shroud. And now I've got this barrel extension. So that'll get glued in there. I've got all my parts done, I think. I can finally start painting, which is great because Ted just finished his gun.
I had no body to do. I just loved it as is.
This is when I decide, do I need to film me unscrewing all of the screws?
I would just do one and then talk about I'm taking these screws out and they cut.
Oh, that's a good idea, Ted. That's how you unscrew one screw. I'm gonna do that 20 more times. Oh, ooh, look at that. That all comes off. That's cool.
Yeah, there's probably.
Oh, geez, there's a lot of parts in here.
Uh-oh, careful.
Okay. That comes off. That's good. Oh boy, the handle is attached to all of this.
Right, okay, that's cool.
Oh my.
Well, that's good to know, right?
I really just want to get this apart so I can paint the trigger not orange. Great, I got everything apart. Just the pieces I want to paint. The handle's going to stay black. I'm going to leave that and all of this mechanical mess by itself. But I got to prep the rest of this stuff, which includes a couple things. First, all of these fake holes here, I want to drill out so that they will be real holes. And I'm going to do it with my drill. Like so. Gonna do that a bunch more times. A couple more things to do before I'm ready for paint. There's some text on here, just really tiny though. And that needs to go. So I'm gonna use some sandpaper and sand it off. That looks pretty good. Now I have a Scotch-Brite pad and I'm just gonna go over everything to just rough up the surface so that the paint has a little more to grab onto. I think the barrel's all going to be the same color, so I'm going to glue these together before I paint it. Just to make sure that the glue sticks, though, I'm going to sand the inside of the stock barrel here. Give it a little bit of grip. Like that. And then I can glue this in. And some super glue should do it. But where's my super glue? Where's my super glue, Ted? Hey, thanks, buddy. Little super glue around here and we'll snug it into place. There we go. Then this can get the Scotch-Brite pad just like everything else. Finally, it's time to paint. I'm going to start with this black camouflage Krylon stuff. It sticks really well to this plastic. So I'm going to do that on everything. Ted used all my paint. Ted used all my paint. This is not black. This is tan. But I'm going to use it because this bonds really well to the plastic. I'll use it basically as a primer. Hooray! Ta-da! Now that all my pieces are basically primed, I'm going to paint them all with a metallic spray paint. Little trigger here. Let's not forget the scope. This is a rubber cement base that I've already mixed up. It's a rubber cement paint base. It's naphtha and rubber cement. Good to go. And I'm going to mix in some oil paint. This is a black or a metallic graphite paint. I'm going to mix that in to try and paint the rubber end of the magazine here because the spray paint did not stick.
Hey, Bill.
See how this goes? Yeah? Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a laser tag gun. I'm all right.
Is just
Yeah.
need a picture.
No, we shot each other with Nerfs yesterday and we got irresponsible.
All right, yeah, this is pretty thin. So I'm gonna mix up. I'll do one layer like this, and then I'll mix up another batch that's got a little bit more of the oil paint in it. So I've got this art masking fluid, which is just liquid latex, and I'm applying it to the edges of this silver paint to mask these areas off before I spray paint on them. So I'm gonna do this all over the gun in areas where they would get a lot of damage and paint chipping. Okay, proceed with being giant dwarf.
And also, kids, for you guys out there, if you do not have latex, you can use toothpaste.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Or
'cause
mustard.
That would be me.
So if you guys
Ew,
don't have latex,
mustard.
you can actually use toothpaste. Take toothpaste and smush it out and rub it on the edges. Let it dry, and then when you spray paint, take a rag and you wipe it off, and it gets that cool chip look.
For the scope here, I masked off the knobs. I want them to stay silver. The rest is going to get like a gunmetal. So I just use masking tape on that, and then I'm again going over the edges with a little bit of this masking fluid to make it look all chipped. The next thing I'm doing here with my masking latex is to just mask off all of these like screw heads and rivet heads, because I'm going to paint the whole thing, and I want these things to stay silver. So I'm just carefully putting on latex on all of these little dots with a tiny brush. Finally, it's time for me to start doing paint. Now the light gray on this reference picture I have is a little, it's not quite white, it's not quite this gray, and it's a little warm. So I'm gonna try and mix these three colors together, these Tamiya acrylic paints, to get the color I want. I'm gonna slowly add darker colors
Yes,
to that.
and that's number one rule to mixing colors.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
I'm also gonna spill as much of it on my workbench as I can.
So you can put your profit in later and then be like, oh.
But I'm gonna add a little bit at a time to my white, because that gray is gonna have a big impact on that white color. And then add just a couple drops of that to my white. And as Frank would say, I'm gonna sneak up on the color.
Yep. Sneak up on it.
All right, so you guys can see where the color is kind of going. It's still like an off whitish gray, but it's definitely not this stark white. So that's what I'm going for. I'm gonna add a little bit of alcohol to it to thin it. This is just a squeezy bottle that I like using for dispensing my rubbing alcohol. Just so it's about the consistency of milk, and then it can go into my airbrush like this. And I've got these pipettes that make it really handy to squeeze up some paint and put it in my thing. Now that I have everything masked off, I can start painting. So I've got my paint here thinned with a little bit of alcohol, ready to go. And this is just total coverage. I'm just gonna spray probably 2 good layers to cover all the silver. And then again, once I demask all that stuff, it'll peek through. You'll see, it'll be cool.
It'd be cool. That natural wear look.
Prop makers don't have trash, they just have extra resources.
That's right.
I have lots of trash.
When you reach a point where you realize your extra resources is a
Alright,
lie.
it's
actually
trash.
You've been kidding yourself and lying to yourself you're going to use it again, and then after 5 years you're staring at the same piece of crap in the corner. You're like, throw that thing out!
This is a dark gunmetal paint that I had mixed for another project, and I think that's what I'm going to use to paint these pieces here. Again with the airbrush. So, piece of wood, piece of double-sided tape. Stick it down, take this thing, press it there. Now the air from the airbrush will not blow it away. We'll let that dry. I'll do a couple of coats of this on each of these pieces. This is all dry, so I can start peeling away the latex rubber that I was using to mask off some areas. And it gives it that nice chipped effect as it goes down to the silver paint below, which is pretty awesome. I also have a toothbrush to help with any of the stubborn bits. All of these screw heads that I covered, these rivets and screw head things, those can get freed from the rubber. And now there's a nice silver bit sticking through right there. I'm going to mask off and spray some dark areas on here, and anywhere that has been chipped, I will remask it, and it'll give it kind of like a two-toned chipping look. You'll see, it's gonna be cool. This paint chipping is a little more obvious. You see I peel it away. I've got the really dark paint with the bright silver contrasting underneath it. It looks super cool. Ah, this is my favorite. Just rub my finger over there and peel it away, and all these built-in scratch effects that look awesome. Look at that. Oh man. Doing some really tedious masking with this little Tamiya masking tape stuff. This part here I want to mask off, and I think I'm just going to lay a piece of this bigger tape over it, and then I can just cut it out. I think that should work. And just follow that indent, and then this part in here gets peeled away. And now I can spray that. Just need to do this on the rest of the gun. So I have this piece all masked off. The parts that are exposed are gonna get painted that darker color. And these spots where I have the paint chipping, I'm gonna go back over them with my latex. And what's cool is I don't have to line them up perfectly. If you get like a two-tone scratch looking thing, it actually looks really cool. So I'm just kind of haphazardly adding scratches as if there are 2 layers of paint on here and they've been scratched off in different ways. I can even add more latex on areas where the darker paint has scratched down to just the gray paint, which is pretty cool. Got all of my parts masked off, ready to go. Just these exposed parts are gonna get painted. Make sure my tape is all nice and secure there. And then I'm gonna go over it with this darker gunmetal color. With the paint all dry, I can peel away all my masking tape to reveal the darker gunmetal parts here. Oh snap. This is the fun part. Oh, that masking comes off and it looks amazing. I can go over the parts that have latex and clean them off. And like I said before, it's got this really cool sort of two-toned paint chip effect with a couple of different colors coming through, which I think looks wicked cool. I've added a logo here. I've got a video on doing stencils. You can go check that out. But basically, this is masking off a little bit of the whiter light color, and then I'm going to mask off the rest of this to add a little bit of orange. So basically, now that that's there, I can go over this. Ted's hovering over my shoulder so we can learn a thing or two.
I was actually suggesting that once you do that, wrap the majority of it with your saran wrap.
That's a great idea, Ted. So I'm going to carefully peel this away. There we go. So the yellow and the blue are a mask, and I'm going to paint those. Paint the white part in there. We'll be painting orange. Right. I'm mostly just saying this so that I know that I'm not screwing up. Thanks to a top tip from my buddy Evil Ted, who's standing just off camera, I'm going to use this cling wrap here to wrap off the rest of this gun so I don't have to put masking tape all over it.
The spray paint will travel.
Yes, it will. So this has... Did I get all that? Yes. So that's covering all of this. My masking has covered all of everything I need here, and I'm going to paint just these parts right there. Time to demask all our hard work. Then this text can come out very carefully. Like that. Hey Ted, check out my text.
Oh damn.
Look at that.
That looks really
Does that look legit?
That looks
that's
real.
So legit.
Yeah. Coming into the home stretch here, I'm going to put these bullets in permanently. The bottoms are sanded flat, so I'm just going to put a little super glue in there and glue them down one at a time. That should hold them all in place. Yep. Hey Ted, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You grab that spray right there and just spray the bottom
would you
of
like
those.
some kicker in that?
It's right there.
There you go.
And just, if you could spray most of that on my hands, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Thanks, buddy.
You want that soak in your liver more? No, okay.
thank
Oh,
you.
you're good. Okay.
Look at that. Good. We're good. Awesome. I had to wash my hands. To finish this piece, I cut out some of this black mesh stuff, and I think hot glue will hold it. I hope hot glue will hold it, so I'm just gonna go for it. What do you think, Ted? Will this work?
Yeah, sure, Bill. Hot glue is always the best to hold things in.
So that is a cool little bit of texture in there. I stole Ted's paint, stole his weathering paint. Just doing a really quick dirty pass here with some watered down acrylic paints, just some blacks and some browns. Just laying it on with a chip brush, taking a damp paper towel and wiping it off. Ted's hovering.
I'm watching. I love it. I'm excited. I like weathering stuff. It makes everything so much better.
Yeah. So I'm doing this before I glue or attach the rest of the parts here, and then I'll do a little bit of touch-up work. But that's just about it. Just about there. A little bit of dirt and grime in there. Ted, you ready for me to make this way better than yours?
It's already there, Bill.
This is a flat black acrylic paint to make it look scorched. But it's flat. It's not glossy.
It's super flat.
And then you can even kind of scuff the end of it
Ooh,
with
you could take superfine steel wool.
right there.
That's what I was going to suggest that.
And just scuff it up a tiny bit.
Good minds think alike.
Done. Well, done with that part. Anyway. That goes on there.
It's got a screen cover.
So there we go. I can weather around that as well. And then this part should slide right on like this. That gets screwed on like that. We'll do a little bit more weathering around that. And then I'll add the scope, just about there. Last bit of detail, instead of filling in my screw holes, I'm going to put in my own screws. So I have a 1/4 thread here, or a tap. Like that, like nothing, because it's plastic. And then I got this set screw, that is a 1/4 set screw. That goes in there, just like that. And now it's got a cool looking hex head instead of that crummy little hole. Yay. Ta-da! Where's Ted?
Ta-da! Wait! Brainsaw!
The Brainsaw. We're all done. Ted, you did a video on your channel.
Yes, I did.
So go on over to his channel right now and watch his Nerf painting video.
Super fun.
And then we're doing something fun. So we finished up our Nerf mod gun paintings here, and I'm gonna put mine on eBay. Ted's gonna put his on eBay.
Yes, but the funny thing is, we're going to put on eBay at the same time.
That's right. We'll have linked to both of them down below. A little bit of a friendly competition.
I'm just saying, I was feeling really confident with my Brainsaw until I watched this jerk do all this work on his damn gun. This looks pretty cool,
got
too.
a functioning sight thing.
You had to show him. You had to show him the functioning
Yep.
sight, Bill. Really?
It's pretty
Did you
awesome.
have to? Okay, well, get right. This spins.
That's a pretty good t-shirt.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Either way, it was super fun to hang out with Ted in the shop for a day and do some really fun painting and modding on our Nerf guns. I recommend you go and do the same thing with your friends. And when you do, send us pictures. Tag me on Twitter. I'm at Chimbeard, and you are?
I'm Evil Ted at Twitter. Twitter.
Evil Ted 40 on Twitter.
And also, don't forget, guys, I'm doing so much. Also, you guys can go to Instagram at Evil Ted _channel.
There you go.
Also, can go to my Facebook page, which is just Evil Ted on Facebook. Definitely, guys, it'll be awesome posting there. And you can find me at eviltedsmith.com on
There
my
it is.
website.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks for hanging out today. We'll see you in the next build.
Pew!
Ha-ha!
Oh my God!
Oh, it didn't shoot. No! Hey, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our new weekly prop and costume tutorial videos. For more goodies, head over to our website where you'll find blueprints, tutorial books, articles, and more. We also have a second channel for our Q&A show and extra behind the scenes videos. Thanks again and happy crafting.